Welcome, everybody, to Too Legit to Crit, a tabletop role-playing podcast hosted by people that phone in if they can't make it to a session.
Ooh, have you ever actually?
Well, technically I'm doing it now, but
This is different. I'm talking about a gaming session.
I haven't phoned in. I've had a member of the party do that, though.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
Didn't really work because it was Justin, and it was hard to keep his attention.
Oh, as I say, I feel like that'd be the hard thing is like the quality of attention and listening and stuff like that. But
But you guys do it every week, don't you?
we do
You
every
guys
week.
do a hybrid.
Yeah, so our gaming system setup is a hybrid, and it works really, really well. But all of our players have like a setup. Like it's not like, oh, I'm just gonna take my phone and sit on the sofa. Like they either have laptops or they have a gaming setup that they use already. So we just kind of plug into that and use that. But yeah, we have a
Fair
hybrid.
enough.
There's 3 in person, 3 digital. Virtual?
Digital, remote.
What do y'all
Is
say?
another
Remote.
word you
There
can
we go.
use. Remote is a word
for
that you
that.
can use.
All good English words, since we know I
They
am so
are.
great with that.
Yeah, you and your English is just...
Me and my English. Yeah.
You make the English language proud.
I do. Speaking of making people proud, I'm proud of you. The reason you're in a different location, right? You're off celebrating. Glad and very proud you took that time off to do that.
Yeah, I took 4 days out and we're just celebrating our anniversary, except for obviously doing this. But yeah, we've had
I
a
told
really
you, I was
good
like,
time.
don't worry about it. You're like, no, it's fine.
It's like, I can cancel the show. It's like, no, you do your show. I think she wants rid of me for an hour, so
I mean,
don't blame the girl. What can I say?
hey, so 4 days is a long time. Just
4 days is a lot. 4 days is a lot
very
of
long
fun.
time.
4 days
It really,
is a lot
really
of fun.
is.
It's a long one.
That's a good one.
Thank you.
Since you had
That'll
vacation,
make it
did you
into
game at all, or are you like? Did you come in
I
for to
gamed
try gaming yet, or?
No, I gamed. No, she's not going to do that. I gamed on Monday. We got back into our Pathfinder game with Mistress Winter at the helm. It was good to get back, and I'm really enjoying that game because it's just balls to the wall idiocy, and we don't take. Out of the 3 characters, none of us take things seriously, and none of us, because Misfit's playing this. I think she's she's a Leshy, but she is essentially a construct of sorts. She has been created, so she doesn't have any social cues or is still learning about the world. I'm an automaton, which I'm doing exactly the same thing. And obviously, Chris's character, he's the babysitter, but he's not exactly babysitter material. So it's a chaotic game, and it's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. So yeah, we did that, and then on the Wednesday we went back to Fabula.
Okay.
Back to Fabula, picked up because it'd been a couple of weeks since we'd last played, and again, a lot of fun. Couch is running a good campaign. It was good to get back, and yeah, that's another one that goes off the rails.
Good.
I think
going off the rails can be good if done correctly.
I think it's when I'm a player. It's just looking at the evidence, because the Delta Green game is a lot more serious and a lot more straightforward, and we don't. But I'm running that. I'm not playing that. So I think the common denominator is me.
It's funny you should say that, because I'm sitting here evaluating like me playing versus GMing. I'm sitting here, I think I'm the opposite problem. When I GM, my players, serious plot, serious moments, really good moments, but like go off and do the most ridiculous batshit crazy things sometimes. Whereas when I'm playing, like I try to keep it lighthearted, but like the most traumatic things end up. Maybe that's just Connell's fault for him GMing. I don't know. Well, no, because like we also had a giant goat that turned into a stone. So I mean, like,
that's giant goats turning into stones. That's par for the course. But yeah, I think the common denominator is me playing. I think I bring a level of which I'm okay with.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with some chaos. Love me some chaos.
We love chaos.
We do. Speaking of chaos, I kind of played 2 games this week on accident. We had our normal game on Sunday night, and there was such an emotionally impactful moment in game that all of us as players were like, can we like sit down in character and chat sometime this week? Like before the next game happens. Doesn't need to be game session. We just need to sort through some stuff because it was one of those situations where an NPC got unalived. Why am I saying
Okay.
that? Yeah, but like
It got killed.
yeah,
Got
yeah,
killed.
by one
Yes,
of
yeah,
our
yeah.
party members, but it was an
Right.
NPC that we grew up with. Like, was might as well have been one of our brothers. Now, granted, we
Mm,
weren't
okay.
tight, like we didn't get along the best, but still, it was one of those moments where it was like we had gone different paths, and we came back, and in an arena coliseum moment, basically we're forced them or us type situation, and it was a very intense moment. Things were revealed, secrets came out, and so we did. We came together, and Connell set up a moment where he's like, "Okay, here's the situation." And then us as players just kind of started talking it out, hashing it out. And I thought foolishly, I thought that it was going to be this like emotional moment of like, hey, let's talk about this, get through this together. And it ended up being like pointing fingers and things were getting like
Ah,
accused of
yes.
people and very like angsty moment, which I did not see coming because that's not our group. That's not this party. Like
Hmm.
we've all been very like, um, hope wins. We've all been very like, hey, we're gonna get through this, we're gonna get through this, we're gonna get through this. But this thing was the tipping point where like we're all playing characters that are around like 18ish years old, and it was this moment
Yeah.
of like, oh. So we had to deal some emotional trauma, and when we left off, like two characters kind of went off on their own for like the night. Not like, oh, I'm leaving you guys, but just like, hey, like we need to some time to deal with this. Two characters went off into a bar and started a bar fight and got drunk, and one went and stayed in the library all night. So like, it was so intense. But then I run game tonight, and my players have decided that they're going to sneak into the city of the Kings Valley and try to figure out a plan to assassinate one of the generals.
Okay.
Yeah, which I'm like, okay, this could be hilarious knowing them because last game I had, one of my players turned into a giant eagle and snatched somebody out of a tree that was trying to arch. Doesn't matter how
Well,
serious the situation is in my game, my players always find an out of the box way to handle it, and I'm so for it. I always look forward to seeing what my players do in the situation. Like it's never, oh, I have this and this planned out. It's like, all right, here's the situation. I'm gonna be entertained, which I look forward to every week. That's good. Well, I GM every other week, but you get my point.
yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Coming up for me this week, I've got obviously back to Winter's Game tomorrow, and then back to Delta Green on Wednesday.
Mhm.
I think we're introducing a new player, which is going to be interesting because introducing a new player into impossible landscapes is it's gonna be a lot.
Do they know? Have they played it before?
No,
No. Have they played any sort of like Eldritch Horror before, or are they completely going to be cut off guard?
they've not played role playing games before.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, so
Good luck.
yeah, so that they're gonna go from I've heard this Dungeons and Dragons thing is okay to I'm going to give you nightmares.
Yeah,
But I mean,
man.
because the guy really wants to play. He's finding himself in a position where he needs to kind of find time, like find a hobby, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
So he's really interested in playing, and I do want to bring him into the next campaign that I'm running. But the problem is we're already halfway through Impossible Landscapes, so I thought
Yeah.
bring him in now, even though it might be hard for him to grasp. At least get him used to the players, get him
Stick
used
his feet in the water.
to
Yeah.
rolling dice,
Okay.
and just bring in another sort of element and another dynamic.
Now, is this like an in-person person, or is this like a
In
virtual
person.
person? Okay.
No, this is
I
in
didn't know
person.
if yours is
Person.
hybrid too, or if yours is all people. Not that people aren't
No,
people for
we're
virtual,
all
but
people. We're all real live boys with beating
yeah,
hearts and prostates.
you're not AI. No
We're
AI
not AI
prostates.
now. No, no, we're not. We're not artificial prostates.
That's good.
Yeah, we're all prostated.
Oh man. But yeah, so I've been doing a lot of planning, game art, game planning, next campaign. I just feel like all of my downtime is towards game, which I mean not
That's
all.
not a bad
Obviously,
thing.
I have a life outside of my hobby, but it's one of those seasons where I'm like I want to do more. It's not like, "Oh, okay, I guess I got to do this." It's like, "Okay, no. I had to stop myself. Tonight
Huh.
for my game, I was doing notes, I was prepping, which is very very like abbreviated outlines. I don't hardcore do note taking for my own games because again, the players will take it and run with it. So I just kind of like bullet points.
Cliff note.
Yeah. And I found myself on my sofa, and I have a little like Acer laptop that's a flippable where you can like use it as a drawing tablet then.
Yeah.
And for fun, for giggles, I was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to make a map. And I got halfway through the map and I was super excited because I'm arting out this like really cool map design. And I'm like, what am I doing? What am I doing? You're going too far, Atlas. Like, stop, slow down. So
No, but I
I,
mean, to be honest, it's another avenue. I mean, there are plenty of people who kind of design and sell maps, whether
brilliantly talented people. Oh my gosh.
I mean, a lot of them they're like done with Dungeon Alchemist
Yeah.
and
Or what's that other one? Ink something, Incarnate, I think is another one
Incarnate,
people
Dungeon
like.
Draft. I use Dungeon
Yeah.
Draft and Wonder
There's so
Draft.
many.
But yeah, they are very talented. But then there's another guy, or another I say guy, another person I follow who just does it all by hand.
Yeah.
Holy
See,
fuck!
yeah. And
That
that's what I
is,
found myself starting to do. I'm like, I don't have time for this.
I'd give it a go.
Those, they're
Definitely
so
worth giving it a go.
those guys who do, and girls, sorry, but those peoples who do those handmade maps, they're gorgeous maps though. Like, I don't know, there's something about handmade that is just beautiful. I mean, the stamps are fine, like the templates are fine. There's nothing wrong with them. They can make some really creative things, but I don't know. There's just an element to that whole handmade artistic style of those maps that are just
I think it is the style.
yeah,
I think that's what changes because, yeah, I can do some really, really intricate maps on Dungeon Draft,
yeah,
but I'm using somebody else's style. So
yeah,
somebody else has done an asset library where it'll be, okay, this is going to be like a selection of boulders, a selection of trees, selection of. So you're using somebody else's style, even though you're arranging thing, I think it lacks that. It lacks that sort of personal touch. And when you see these people just hand drawing them, I'm enamored with it. I think it's absolutely
beautiful.
fantastic. If I had any artistic talent whatsoever, I would
Yeah,
try.
yeah. I do like I've done maps before. I have a headache. Sorry. I've done maps. As well as like right here, which is why I think it's sinus, like the weather. Um, but sorry. Whew, squirrel. I've done above bird eye maps before, and I like them. They're
Huh.
beautiful. But what I found myself doing more often than not lately is like point of view maps.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
so you're standing on a hill overlooking the town or overlooking the city.
Yeah.
So like you can see most of it, but maybe not all of it, not in super detail. Or like, oh, you're standing walking down marketplace and you look up and you see the castle and like the vendors. Which I guess isn't map. That's more landscape drawing, isn't it?
To a
I
certain
don't
degree, I
know.
mean, I think a bit of column A, bit of column B, if I'm honest with you, because
Yeah,
yes, it's not technically a map, but at the same time, if you
it
do
still
like
gives
an
layout.
isometric view of a town, you can pinpoint, okay, so this is going to be the town center, that's going to be the
That big building
docks
is the
area, that's going to
Coliseum.
be,
That
yeah, so
yeah,
it's not a map per se,
yeah.
but it is good enough for people to be able to get an idea of which direction they need to go in.
Exactly. And so for a lot of the games that I play, it's so weird. Here's a weird Atlas thing. I do more art for the games that I am in, like that I'm playing,
Huh.
versus GMing. If I am
Yeah.
GMing, I rarely do any art for my games. And it's always been like that. And I didn't realize it till this morning. I was doodling and fucking around with that map. And I'm like, because so far in my story, it's all been theater of the mind. I haven't done any NPC picks. I did do art for my players, like their actual player characters, but I haven't done any like NPCs, towns, landscapes, nothing. It's all whatever they see in their head. I want that to be what they have.
Huh.
So that's why when I started doodling the map up, I was like, nah. Like I can explain the big parts enough that they can just, which
Yeah, I mean, I'm too much Pathfinder. I'm burnt out with maps and
yeah.
especially tactical. It has no.
Connell in the chat did drop a comment about me doing a map at the starting town in about 45 minutes. That was entertaining only because he had this big combat coming up and we didn't need it for squares. We didn't need it for like, oh, tactical, whatever. It was just for people to understand that like, hey, the dragon's coming from this way, the goblins are coming from this way type
Yeah,
situation. So he handed me, I think it was his son's like colored pencils from back when he used that for school and a piece of
yeah,
paper. He's like, can you draw this up real quick? I'm like, it's just like really quick scribbled, like crayon level. It was so much
yeah,
fun. But I do really, really, really like theater of the mind. And we've talked about that before about how it's
yeah.
like I took some theater classes in my senior year of school, and they kind of did that whole people will self-insert what they don't see. Um, like a bunch of people can see the same play or musical and walk away remembering something completely different, and then they realize like, oh, that wall wasn't there at all. We just knew that it was a wall because there were frames hanging. I love that. I love it so much, and that's kind of how I
Yeah,
like to run my games.
yeah. I think it creates a more vivid game.
Hmm.
It becomes when you start dealing in tactics. That's when you start going down to the minutiae of the rule set.
Hmm.
Oh, can I move this amount of space? And
Yeah.
how far away is that enemy? And that just slows everything down.
Yeah.
So I
No.
think
No bueno.
having theatre of the mind and just kind of going, fuck it, let's talk about this and let's kind of come up with an idea or a representation of what is going on, and then you can fill in the blanks.
Well, that's to be honest. I actually do most of my art for the games I'm in after the
Mm.
fact. So like I'll play with people's characters like across table from them for a while, and then draw them because like I want to get a good concept of your character, your personality, the
Mm.
way your character would hold themselves before I'm going to draw them, because I don't want to just be like, here is character, you know.
Yeah.
And that's the way it is with like landscapes too. Like for example, I had an NPC interaction, very brief,
Mm.
but the way that NPC interacted with my character in the game that I was playing in, that spoke volumes to me of that NPC's character, that I drew that scene. I didn't just draw the
Yeah.
character. It was like, here is that scene. And I think that that really allowed me to draw a really good picture of that NPC.
Mm.
Let's see. Chat says, I enjoy the tactical stuff every so often. It can be fun to move the minis around, but who has time or space? Yeah, right. I've
I
done
agree.
minis. I've done minis once in my life, and we didn't even use the minis. We used dice. It was like this
Yeah.
big combat scene, and we just stuck dice on the table. Like, I'm the green one, I'm the blue one. And Sammy says, I think having a basic reference what needs to be placed is very helpful, but letting people create the details they want with what they are seeing always them to immerse themselves in the game more. Like I like it when players are so immersive in a game because they are seeing it in their head. We're all friends sitting around a table like hallucinating over the same thing, playing pretend. Let's be real. That's what I love about it. It's great. It's a great hobby. Come be delusional with me and play pretend and roll shiny things.
That's it. Let's go pretend we're fucking wizards and shit. Which is basically my subtitle for what this game is. We're gonna go hang out and pretend we're wizards and shit.
We're just playing pretend. We never grew out of that phase. We're still playing pretend.
I don't
It's
see
actually
anything wrong
funny.
with it.
Did you have any childhood propensities that made you like looking back, you're going, oh yeah, no, I was always destined to play TGI?
I always created sort of movies in my mind,
Okay.
like action scenes and movies and things like that, and to the point of getting very emotionally invested in them. So I think
Hmm.
looking back, I think I've definitely brought that along into the hobby.
Yeah.
Where if I'm designing a set piece or something like that, I will visualize it and I will go over it. And even when I'm kind of putting that pen to paper,
Hmm.
I have to be able to visualize it. If I can't
Visualize.
visualize it, then I struggle. Same with like running, even if it's an adventure, or I have to visualize how it's going to play out.
Hmm.
Just so then I've got it in my mind so I've got all the information as close to my mind as possible. So if I'm playing Delta Green's a bit of a harder one because of the information. But what I'll do is I'll start making up scenes as if I was playing it.
Uh,
As if I'm playing the game, I'll start making up scenes. So if my character decides and goes to talk to this person, what
right.
would that look like? How would that NPC be? How would he be receiving people?
Yeah.
And I kind of create that, and it helps me present that to the players.
Hmm. That's That's actually really good. As a kid, all my friends would play house, right? Like, let's play house. Let's play mommy and daddy and house and blah, 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 blah. And I wanted to play X-Men. Like, me and my friend, like my childhood friend, we had superpowers and we're jumping off roofs, right? We were like, it was great. And we had storylines and like sagas and it was a whole ordeal. But even when I was really little and played Barbies, it was never a like, I'm going to play Barbie. I'm going to pretend to be this Barbie. I would make a character. I would design their house and their setting, and I'd start over again. And I always thought it was like, oh, I just want to play dress up. But I'm like, I wonder if that's like, because even now, like Baldur's Gate 3, Sims, I'll create characters and storylines and backgrounds, like my NPCs and my towns and stuff, and I just let it go and I let my players have them. So it's almost like I like creating, but I don't need the control over it. It's like, okay, I created this, you play with it. I created this, you play with it. And I think that helps me not be a absolutely control obsessive.
I I didn't find. I mean, I think we're all creative when we're kids. Obviously, some have more sort of artistic flair to it. Whether it's your writers, your painters, your sculptors, all that, anybody who's into that. But I think we are, as children, we are creative, and I think that gets beaten out of us.
Oh, yeah,
And
absolutely.
it took me a while to find it again because I didn't start
But you
playing this.
did.
I didn't start getting back into this hobby until I was 33, 32.
Jeez. Okay.
So, well, did I say start? I didn't start this hobby until then.
Yeah.
So I didn't have that creative outlet. Everything I was
Mhm.
doing was presented to me. So I was playing a video game, but I always kind of gravitated to the video games where I could do more. Yeah, where I could, I want to do this. Not necessarily your RPG games,
Mhm.
because I don't particularly like them too much. But it was games where I had more options as a player.
Yeah.
And, I think that's probably a telltale sign that this hobby was going to hit me like a train.
Yeah. Absolutely. I don't know when it snapped in place for me. Like I said, my first gaming session was a hot mess. I was so nervous and shy, which is so funny because I'm not. I am an extrovert. I'm confident. I'm whatever. But like you put me in a new situation and I'm quiet and I'm very held back because I'm a lot. Like people either love me or hate me. There's usually no middle ground. And I don't want to come on strong. Like I don't want to be like, hi guys, into a room. So I'm usually really, really quiet when I first walk into a room. So like it was so hard. It was so hard. I was trying just very, very carefully to be like, okay, I'm gonna be quiet. I'm gonna just see how it goes. And everyone was pushing, like, no, 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 just be the character. It's fine. Just, be comfortable with whatever you want to do.
Huh.
And at some point, I really don't remember when it was, but like at some point, it was just one of those moments where it was like, oh, this is my game. Like not necessarily D&D, but like TTRPGs. I was like, oh, okay, I can do this. Like this is my thing. I always loved video games. I've always been super creative, but like I was into theater for a long time, but I never fit in with the theater kids. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah.
So getting to have that creative outlet of like, here's this thing in which I can be creative, but not on display, I guess.
Yeah.
If that's a weird way of putting it. I don't know.
No, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
makes sense, especially if you are a creative person. It does take you a moment to kind of go, okay, this is good enough to show people.
Yeah. Yeah.
This podcast is a testament to that. I spent
Yeah.
however long with my friends, my closest friends, talking about this hobby.
Yeah.
And we would talk about pretty much the same sort of shit that you and I talk about.
Yeah.
We'd get into discussions about which system is better. We'd talk about theatre of the mind. Every little sort of, I think the word that they like to use nowadays is discourse about the hobby that we could. But that's what me and my friends would do. And it wasn't until Justin and I had a particularly long conversation we went, man, we should have recorded that.
And I love that. That's one of those things that like I stress all the time. I know it's a big sigh, but it's like I don't ever want to do something in this hobby to make it, quote unquote, make it. I'm not trying to make anything. The only thing I want to make is a welcoming atmosphere. That's it. Like I want people to play games and enjoy it. Period. End of story. And I
I mean,
think that like everybody needs a starting point.
I don't even want to create a welcoming atmosphere. Fuck them.
Go all together because we're
Now,
polar opposites.
no, I mean, and don't get me wrong, I have fallen victim to the grind. At some point. I have kind of, at certain periods of the whole production of the show, there have
Mhm.
been times where I've been more focused on growth. But it's just, I always keep reminding myself, wait a minute, I didn't do this for anybody.
Yeah.
I did this
Let's be
essentially for
honest.
me.
You have a manager's personality. Like, that I think that's just like an example of how people's brains are wired, because we talked about this about how like you and I both had very, very like managerial positions, and you're like, oh, you'll slip back into it again. And I am vehemently like, no, never again will I ever go that high up the ladder again. I hated it.
It's great. Just go higher.
No, no.
Just
I
go
actually
higher.
jokingly had someone at work be like, you'd be great at. I'm like, don't finish your sentence. I don't want to know. I'm great at what I do now. I'm going to stay right here.
I tried that in my professional career. I went from being a manager to
Yeah.
just being back on the ground, boots on the
Yeah.
ground. And it was great. It was fantastic for about
Wonderful.
3 months. And then I started seeing things that people were doing. It's like, oh, you fucker. It's like, no, no, I can't do it. I've got to be in a position where I can change that. I've got to be in a position where I can
Good.
improve this thing. And then
That is so good.
I was in a role that was very much goal driven and profit making thing. So it was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so we're losing profit. We are losing profit because
Mm,
of this.
yeah.
So that's when I started pushing again for a managerial position.
Yeah,
But
no,
yeah,
thank
I
you.
couldn't hack
I'm
it.
good.
I could not hack it.
I think it kills my creativity, to be honest. When I have that much stress and responsibility on me, like all of my free time goes into recharging because it drains me. And I had a job where I was a director of a position for like a 600 unit like group. It- All eyes were on me at all times. And so it was like I could not even art. I couldn't do anything and express myself and share it because it was like all eyes. And it was so restraining that I was just kind of like, no,
I
no.
find it the opposite. I find I've
Oh,
got more time now to be able to, and I've got more drive to kind of indulge in my
mm,
hobbies.
it's good.
Than because I think if I have a shit day at work when I've not in a managerial position and I'm being told and this, I will struggle with that because I'll go away thinking about what was wrong and what went wrong
Yeah.
and how this person could have done this better, and not having the ability to change that really plays on me.
Okay.
Whereas in this, if I have a shit day, I can go home and kind of go, right, what did I do?
I
Okay,
get that. I can see that.
this is where I made the mistake. This is where I did wrong. Tomorrow I'm going to do better.
Mm,
And that's it. Once I've done that, once I've gone, tomorrow I'm going to do better. That's it. It's out of my mind. It's
yeah.
gone. I don't have the weight on my shoulders. I just know that tomorrow I've got to come in, hit the ground running, and make the necessary changes because I've got the power to do that. Whereas if I don't, it's a real powerless sort of feeling, and I struggle massively with that.
But see, that's also what I love about this hobby. Like, I love tabletop role playing games because literally you and I are very similar in a lot of ways, but we're also polar opposite. And I think that that's a testament to this game is that like it attracts literally all walks of personalities and all walks of lives. All walks of personalities, is that a thing?
All walks of personality. I
All walks
like
of
it though.
personality.
That's hey, show title. Walks
All
of
walks of
personality.
personalities. There you go.
Walks of personality. It's going to be more ethereal. People are going to kind of go, holy shit, that's going to be a deep episode. And
Yeah,
then they're
we're
going to
like
listen
talking
to
about
this
our
and just go,
feelings.
who are these two jackasses?
Listen, John, talking our asses off once again
Yeah.
every week, y'all.
But yeah, walks of personality. Is there any way I can make notes? That is what's missing. Marker.
Yes.
There, I've put a marker
Well, there you go.
on there. So there we go.
Love how you can sit down at a table and play TTRPGs with so many different peoples and personalities. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. It's
Yeah. And
I feel like you walk on a soccer field, at least me growing up.
hmm.
Yes, you will get different personalities and types, but most of us on that team would have the same experience to that point. Whereas you sit down with a tabletop role playing group, who knows what you're gonna get, and I love that.
I mean, that was me with the whole PFS thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's you're dealing with different tables every time you
Yeah.
play a game. And don't get me wrong, when the local lodge here, we had a lot of it was a recurring group of people,
Mm-hmm.
but you weren't necessarily playing with the same people. So it wasn't only about the individual personalities, it was how those personalities interacted with each other. And it gave me a lot of practice in being able to manage that, in being able to kind of cater to a multitude of people without necessarily having to put in the guidelines that certain tools are put in place, which are great. They're fantastic. But when I think experience also counts for a lot. So yes, you can have your veils and your lines and all this, and it works really well. But the more you play with different people, the more you are able to spot potential issues and potential problems
Oh
and
my
deal
gosh,
with
yeah.
them
Yeah.
immediately.
Yeah. And it's so different too because like, I've been playing at a table for the last 5 years that as a player, I would recognize things and be like, "Oh, that's a problem, that's a problem, that's a problem." As a player, how do I help solve this situation? Like, it's an out of character problem. How can I in character solve this problem and help the GM? Because I'm not like the GM has a lot on their plate in the first place, and yes, it's their responsibility to manage the table. But as a player, like we're a team. Don't be a dick. We're not
Yeah,
going to get into it, but that's just the blunt statement of it. Um, but then as a GM for the same table, the things that I would see as a player and recognize, be like, oh yeah, okay, I know to avoid this with that person. As a GM, I'm like, this is a whole nother level.
yeah,
It's like, oh my gosh. So how am I going to manage this? Get this person involved, not let this person get bored. It's fun though. I
yeah.
wouldn't give up GMing
It's
for anything. It's fun.
no me either. I mean, I think that is again. I think that's the managerial side of me that's coming
Oh
through,
yeah.
of kind of going. I prefer to G. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love playing, but I prefer to GM.
I prefer to play, but it's funny. I prefer to play, but there is that like the creative side of me is just a little bit stronger leaning towards GM, but I have to take breaks. For me, I have to take breaks because my GMing is less managerial. Like, yeah, I like having like that managerial position and creative control. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm exposing myself a little bit here. Shocker to everybody, not really. I'm a people pleaser. So, like, as a
Uh,
GM, I want to make my players happy. I want to make sure they have a good experience. It takes a lot out of me sometimes, and I'm like, okay, I need a
yeah.
break. Like, like, whew.
I
So
mean,
I like this campaign ends, I'm gonna take a break. I don't know how long it'll be.
I
Not
want
very
my
long,
players to
but
have a good experience. I don't necessarily have to make them happy.
yeah. Oh no. And I think making people enjoy it, not making people, giving someone the opportunity to allow themselves does not necessarily mean you're trying to make them happy. But like I've done this in times with my games where like I know certain players towards a certain way on how they like to play. So I'll give them that opportunity. They walk past it, they walk past it. I'm not gonna be like, oh, you have to go this route. Like it's just kind of like, hmm, like, okay.
I like to create emotion, and that emotion isn't always positive. You know,
Yeah,
sometimes
no.
sometimes it's a negative emotion, sometimes it's
Yeah.
sadness, sometimes it's fear. But I want them to walk away from that session going, "Fuck,"
Yeah.
and have it in their mind whether it's a really good thing or whether it's a really negative thing that's happened.
Mhm.
Obviously, keeping everybody safe, but within the confines of that safety, to be able to kind of push their emotional boundaries.
Absolutely. And that's something that I've been exploring as a player. The game I'm playing in, the one where the emotional trauma just happened, it's anime coded. Like it's not an anime game whatsoever. It's a
Ah,
5e fantasy game. But a lot of things have like a nod to anime-esque vibes, like the big golden like armor, one character's got spiky hair and this giant scarf that makes no sense, would not work in the real world, but it's just very anime coded for different types of things.
yeah,
And like I said, we're all like young adult teenagers, like bopping out into the world, being heroes and stuff. But what I did not expect is my character is really diving into the concept of depression and what that looks like in different people, but also like how that affect it's intense. And that's one of those things where like, you're saying, create emotions. Connell did drop in the chat, like it's his creative outlet for art. He wants people to react to the art. That's why he prefers a GM, and that is something that I've been exploring with this character that is hard for me personally because um it's a hard topic. Like everybody
yeah.
deals with depression at some point in their life. Whether you have depression or not is that's a completely different story. But like dealing with that on a character level of okay, how does this character deal with this and not break the game? It's like man, like it's intense. And I think that that's one of those things too is like while tabletop role playing games is a creative hobby, I think it can also be a creative way to explore deeper subjects and thought processes. And how would you process this? How can you process
Ah.
this? It's been interesting. It's been
Yeah,
rough, but it's been
I think
interesting.
they are. I mean, they're used for sort of mental health assistance. They are used as a sandbox to be able to process and to be able to experience things that you wouldn't normally be experiencing, and to be able to kind of deal with those things. So they are, and it is an emotional medium. And like Connell said, some of us, we aren't necessarily artistically inclined. So that for us is our sort of artistic expression. I mean, the most artistic you are ever going to see is stuff related to this show, like the artwork, the music. That is it for me. That is where my capabilities lie. Other than that, it's writing. It is writing, and it is trying to create these stories and trying to improvise with players and player decisions to be able to create this.
Yeah, and I think with anything, I always talk about balance. That's a thing for me. But like, I think that if every episode is a hit, like a hard hit, it's exhausting. You know what I mean? So I think that being able to sprinkle, eldritch tentacle horror in your game, and like people losing their minds, but then turn it around and be like, oh no, like seriously. I like being able to flip flop back and forth on that, on the intensity and the goofiness versus like I said, I had one episode where one player swore up and down that a new player was a reincarnate character from beforehand. And it was goofy. It was hilarious. Everyone was laughing. It was so much fun. And then the next episode, everybody realized, like, hey, like, we're facing someone who's like basically into genocide. On a completely different. So, like, on one hand, super goofy episode. The next episode, like, it was like I said, I think I stated it last week, where the player realized, and you could see it on their face, they're like, they had that moment in character that was like, oh, no. And so I like balance. I like flip flopping between the two. Just kind of depends on the mood. Like a mood ring.
Yeah, I mean, in Deltarune, you can't really flip flop too much.
No.
It's quite relentless. But I'm working on getting a Deltarune game running for you guys.
Yeah, I want to play it. I really want to play it.
I just need to pick the right sort of introduction. Because there is an intro scenario, I just don't like it very much. So I want to find something better.
I need to find the footage. I played Alan Wake, and I recorded it because for a while I was doing games. And it was entertaining. I'm so angry at that game. I'm so angry at that game. Any sort of like mindfuck game, I'm just kind of like, okay.
I don't know. Is it on your YouTube channel?
No, I didn't upload it. That's what I'm saying. I need to get the footage and actually edit it and put it up there.
Fair enough.
Because I was yelling at the birds, and I actually quit. I didn't finish the game. And you want to know why I didn't finish the game?
Why?
This is so stupid. And I swear, I don't do this in tabletop role-playing games. Only video games. There's a stupid part where you have to get across the bridge, and you have to like dodge barrels that are being launched at you. And I went over that bridge like 15 to 17 times. And there's a glitch in the game or something, because I kept clipping the last barrel no matter what I did. So I was like, fine, I'm done. Like, I'm never playing this game again. Stupid barrel. Yeah. Pissed me off. So like,
so you rage quit.
I rage quit. Oh, hard. I rage quit hard in video games. Tabletop role-playing games? No, I'm always level-headed. I'm like, no, there's a way we can solve this. Let's work through this as a team. Video games? I may or may not have thrown a controller before in my life.
Yeah, I don't rage quit. I just quit. Video games, I don't get angry about it. I'm very calm and zen, but at the same time, I'll go, done with that then. That's it, I'm done. It's not a rage quit, it's more just a quit.
I'm a full hard rage. Like, I'll be like, I'm so intense and I'm so into it. Like, and then I did that with a book one time. I did that with a book. I was reading a book and I forgot my book in Indiana. And I was at Connell's house and he's playing video games. And I pulled up my phone because I didn't have my Kindle yet. So I had my Kindle app on my phone. So I'm reading it. I'm reading. And then he's playing video games. Suddenly I go, oh my gosh. And I tossed my phone across the room into his sofa. It's on the other side of the room. And he's just like, what just happened? It's like, it's just rage quit a book, basically. Sam in chat. She's thrown a book before too. Sometimes you just gotta throw stuff. Like, not all of us can be barbarians all the time and rage all the time. So sometimes we just have to throw stuff.
Yeah, most of my books are on my iPad, so I'm not throwing them.
Yeah, no. Now that I have a Kindle, it's pretty much all on that, and I'm not throwing that. But
yeah, I'm not throwing. I'm on my iPad.
I only buy books if it's like. Here's the funny thing. Okay, for tabletop role-playing games, I will get the PDF just because I like to have it on my phone for that easy, quick, whatever.
Yeah.
But I love, and I mean love, getting the books. Even if I'm never going to play it, I'll get the book because for me, it's A, supporting the artist, and B, most of the time, if I get a book, it's because it's pretty. Like, there's no way around it. I know that there's a game I will not play. I will buy it if it's pretty. And that's so basic, but like in a world where people can just throw together anything and like, oh, look, I made this game. Like, pretty, like effort to put in artwork. There's AI. Don't even get me started on that. It's pretty. Like, okay.
I do like PDFs just because of the convenience.
Yeah.
If I'm going to my friend's house, I don't want to take all my books, especially if you've got a game which is so many books. Pathfinder,
Yeah.
D&D, where it's book after book after book. Even Delta Green, although most of their books are setting.
Yeah.
Still, just to have everything on a PDF is brilliant because you can kind of go, right, open up, have a look at this PDF. It's not as satisfying and it's a bit more cumbersome, weirdly.
Yeah.
But I do prefer that.
Weird, right?
However, I will now pretty solidly only really support bigger game companies that offer free PDFs.
Yeah, you were talking about that beforehand. See, I usually have 3 things on me when I run game. When I play a game, it's different. But I have my phone and or some sort of tablet that I can, because I use OneNote, so it has my gaming notes on it and I can flip through it or PDF it, whatever I need to do. I have my paper notebook because I'm one of those people where like I'll just jot down notes during combat. I'm not gonna like, use my phone and type in like, oh, damage and I'll just jot it down really quick. Or if I have ideas or thoughts, and then one book. I only bring one book at all times. If I'm playing, that's a different story. I actually have a like backpack specifically for game night where like I think I've got 5 books in it at all times, but they're from different games too. That's what's so funny is like we're only playing one system, but I have all these other books in there so that I can just like have them in case I need them. They're like emotional support books, if we're being honest. Yeah, digital versus hard cover. It's I like both. Use both. It just depends on the situation. Kind of like dice.
Yeah, I mean, for example, the Delta Green, I've got the Agent's Handbook, I've got the Handler's Guide, I've got Impossible Landscapes, I've got Control
got
Group,
a lot
Black
of material.
Sites, all I've got physical books. But then if we go into stuff like the Conspiracy and stuff like that, they're all on PDF. Part of me wants the physical books to complete, like to have a collection. But at the same time, it's annoying because I could have bought the physical books and got a free PDF out of them.
Yup.
Because that's what Arc Dream's one of these companies that offer that facility, unlike Paizo or Wizards of the Coast.
Jeez, yeah. Are you a digital or a physical dice person? Have we talked about that?
A physical dice.
You prefer physical? It depends for me. And that was the question of the week, actually. Segue. Haha.
Well done.
I
well
know.
done
I have it occasionally, but not dice specifically. I just wanted to know what kind of D20s. Because like we talked about dice on the show before, but I wanted to know what kind specifically. I know that's super like specific and niche. And we got a couple of responses.
Okay.
And by a couple, I mean 3. Connell,
the alternative meaning of the word couple.
Yeah, right. Connell says
there is a thing it's called a Mallorcan couple and obviously it's lost in translation, but if you're a Mallorca and a Mallorcan asks you for a couple of things, they literally mean a handful. So it was always up because when I was working, I was I was an electrician at one point in my life where my manager would ask for a couple of like cable ties and I'd give him 2 and he'd be like, what the fuck are you doing?
No, I get that. I don't know if we have a title for that, but I get that. Like there's a couple people that, a genre of people, we'll call it that I've had in my life where I'll be like, hey, I need this cut at 45-degree angle. Very specific, right? And I'll get like 60 something completely not 45. And I'm like, what is this? Oh, well, I thought it was figurative. Or I'll be like, hey, I need 2 inches off of this piece of wood because I used to do set designs. And I'd get like, 6 inches. I'm like, what are you doing? Like,
that is infuriating. That's pissing me off just hearing about it. It's like if I
may or may not have fired them off the set, to be honest.
Of course. If I want an inch, I will ask for an inch. If I want 6 inches.
Stop wasting my time and my materials. I have a deadline. Let's go.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%.
Yeah.
I'm very specific.
Yeah. I like I like any dice, but I'll get to me in a second. But no, so over on Blue Sky, actually, we had the most responses. Fear Cohen's says that he
Hey,
prefers the
Fia.
custom make it.
Come on. You can do this.
I can't.
You
English is
can. You can
hard.
do this.
Okay. I have a custom made liquid core D20 I call the Dark Crystal. Right? To be honest, the one every collection needs is a blood red D20. It can be shiny or matte, inked white or black or metallic. But if your collection doesn't have the red one, do you even have dice?
That is true.
That's, you know what's funny? I don't even
I've
think
got
I
a red
have.
one.
Do I have a red one? Hang on. Hold up, chat. Hang on a second.
I've got one.
We're about to find out if Atlas has a red dice. Because I
I've got
generally, I stay away from the color red, to be completely real.
I've got most colours.
I
This is a very much like sixth grade, like early grade conversation. Yeah, I got all the colours.
I think this
I
is
got
the
a red one.
closest. I have it's burgundy with like gold glitter.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I like it.
Ironically, I bought this entire set for a friend because they're like, I want to play D&D with you guys. And then she never did, so I kept her dice.
You went into a house and went, I'm taking these back, motherfucker.
No, she just never came and played. I think I dropped one. I'm not sure.
You could have gone along with the fiction. That would have been funny.
Yeah, broke into her house.
Broke into a house and I'm taking these back.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
where
so
was I? The red one.
red dice. I agree with that.
Yeah.
So you just read Fear Cohen's.
The Darth Oldius, the only dice that hate me more than physical ones are virtual ones. I do have some cool tiny dice with mostly round edges, except the D4s, but they're all at home and I am not, so he couldn't send pictures. And then Connell, metal, rough cut style, sharp edged metal weapons. Strongly dislike round corner dice, just rolling forever right off the table.
Fair. I went through a phase of only wanting metal dice.
I think everybody did at some point, to be honest.
But to be honest, then I got my my phylactery dice from Cryptic Crits. Yeah. And it was like, they're not metal. You know, they're resin.
I love artisan dice, which is what that falls under.
So nice.
They're beautiful. I have Cryptic Crits dice. I think they're in my Dragon Horde.
Huh.
Yeah. These suckers, right?
Yeah.
And then I have my Cthulhu dice. Like, I have two sets of dice that I always have on me, and that's Cryptic Crits and Cthulhu. And then I have collection of pretty dice. But I like rough edge. I prefer rough edge. But you throw me any sort of handmade artisan dice, and I will buy it. I love handmade, beautiful artisan dice. Sorry, I just looking at my cup going, that'd be a pretty dice. Look at that.
I do have a green dice, the green D20 that people fear.
Whoa, why?
Because I think it's imbalanced to fuck, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah,
because
that's fair.
It rolls. I've not actually confirmed it, but it rolls high, and people are just like, I just don't bring out the green dice.
I don't know if I have any. I have character sets. Like, I usually buy a die per character, but I think that there's one set of dice that I always rolled high with, and it was my Grave Cleric set. It was just a normal, like, resin or acrylic set of dice, but it did me good. Like, that entire set of dice, it was like, oh, okay, we're rolling high. But to be completely honest, I do a lot of digital dice rolling now, mainly because I don't have anything I can roll my dice in when I'm at someone else's house, and I don't want to lose my dice. Because, again, I buy pretty expensive dice. I don't want to just, like, oh, it's under a couch for forever. I should get, like, a little pocket dice roller I can just drop it in or something.
The only time I use digital is when I'm on Foundry. And that's just out of habit. I could quite easily just ignore the dice roller entirely and just roll proper dice.
I don't know if we can see this. And I use crit dice because all of these up here are different, like, sided dice. It's easy. It's fast. I should start rolling, though. I should get some sort of bucket or something.
I just enjoy rolling dice. Like, because going round to Chris's once a week, I've just got a set of dice. Well, not a set. I've got a bag of dice there that I just leave there. So that's my Chris dice. So anytime I'm playing around at Chris's, I use those dice. I've got like my good sets, which are I think I've got 3 metal sets now, as well as my Cryptic Crits. They're the ones I used to take to play Pathfinder with at the lodge.
Yeah.
So I need to repurpose them somehow. And then I've just got my dice chest, which is next to my computer, is if I'm playing something online and I don't want to use virtual dice, I'll just grab from there.
My Dragon Horde, literally, right? That's my Cthulhu and my cryptic dice, which those are like my go-to. Like when I'm here, they're like my favorite, so I don't want to take them with me because I don't want to lose
Yeah.
them. And then I have my like spare. This is just random spare dice. And then I do have
You have.
I have these guys. I bought a shit ton of D6s for household, but they're like fairy colors.
Okay, they're nice.
But these guys right here are gorgeous. Look at these D20s. So this one looks like water. I don't know if you can actually tell on the camera. And
Yeah,
this
it
one's
took a
got
moment
like
to
that
focus.
hollow. This one's got that hollow foil on the inside.
Yeah. Yeah, they're pretty.
So I have literally a pretty dice jar.
No, that's it. I mean, we all like dice.
Yeah, we all like dice. And I don't think it
more.
matters what game you play. We all like dice. Unless you're Connell, but he can get over it.
Yeah, I need to treat myself to more.
Yeah. Yep.
Because
Absolutely.
I like collecting them.
Yeah. I do too. I should get some more dice. That should be a thing. I should buy some more dice.
Definitely.
Joey, buy your dice. Let me know. I'll buy your dice.
So if you're watching this and you needed a signal or you needed a sign to buy more dice, this is that sign.
This is your sign.
Go ahead.
Get some more dice.
Cryptic Crits. Jody's Dice Farm.
Yeah,
go buy dice from them because
dice.
they're really good dice.
Yup. I do like Connell mentioned most of his gaming these days is from the couch. Not the couch, our couch, but a
Not
couch.
the capitalized couch.
Not the capitalized couch. That'd be funny. We should all just like show up in England one day and throw a handful of dice at it and be like,
no, I mean, just turn up.
Right? Listen, as soon as I have that much money, because it's expensive right now.
I mean,
I looked into it. I genuinely looked into it. I was like, all right, if I was just gonna show up and surprise everybody across the pond, and I priced out tickets, and I'm like, heifer.
I mean, at some point you're gonna probably have to emigrate anyway. The way your country's fucking going, once they get through all the minorities, they're coming for others.
Oh my god, yeah, like no joke. My days are numbered.
Yeah, just come to the UK. It's fine. We'll find.
Could not handle me. The UK could not handle Atlas. Let's be real.
Oh, come on, of course we fucking
come on,
good.
like.
Of course we fucking good.
American English. You think I'm going to be good with English?
You'll be fine. Don't worry about it. You'll be fine. You just adopt your English accent again.
Oh God. I thought about that the other day. I was like, I have a very important NPC that I'm going to voice. I'm like, I could pull off British accent.
You could. I think you could.
And I got to the moment, and I was going to do it, and all accent out the window. I was like, I just couldn't. Again, if I am not on spot, if I'm not pressurized, if I'm not pressured, I can pull out a great accent. But I have to either not realize I'm doing it or nobody draw attention to it. Because the minute someone draws attention to it, it's gone.
But to be honest, it's one of the things about APs that annoy me. When obviously they bring out an NPC that's meant to have an English accent, and it's very much oi governor, and it's like, oh Jesus Christ,
accent. So for real,
I run Delta Green, and Delta Green is set in America. How many American accents do you think I do? Fucking zero. In my version of Delta Green, America has English accents.
America has so many different accents within it. Even like Southern accents have so many different dialects and versions of Southern. You've got Appalachian, you've got New Orleans, you've got like Texas, Georgia, like and then there's like Virginia. Don't get me started on Kentucky. Like there are so many different. I tried telling a friend that because I had a theater friend who's super excited. They're in Steel Magnolias. And they're like, Alice, check out my accent. You're from the South. Isn't it great? And they did their accent. And I was like, that's good. I just wanted to be like.
Yeah, so all my Delta Green NPCs, they all sound like me. With no accent whatsoever.
Same. Because I don't do accents. I just do different dialects and different like tones and rhythm and cadence of speaking.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, sometimes I'll slip into an accent. I'm just kind of go, oh shit, that's where that was, and I'll just go with it. But other than that, I can't be fucked.
Yeah, no.
Even like playing a game with like close friends that won't judge me too harshly.
No, all my friends judge me, but I welcome it. I welcome judgment because that's how I get better at shit. But no, I'm not going to pop out an accent, not on purpose. The only one that I feel comfortable enough doing is I have a heavy like Eastern accent that I can slightly pull off. But even at that, it's not I don't know. It's very
Finish the
Moldovan.
thought.
It's very
No,
Moldovan.
fair enough.
It's not blatant Russian. It's not blatant Ukraine. It's that specific genre of Eastern.
Yeah, which I
But
think, yeah, that's quite a common one that you see.
yeah, yeah. So that's that. But yeah. But next week is our last 5E themed episode. So you're gonna have time to rejoice. Gotta make it good though.
Do we tell people what our next theme is going to be, or should we leave it out
No,
until
let's wait
next
till next
week?
week. Let's wait till next
I
week.
think people are going to pretty much fucking
I
guess what our
think
next
it's
theme is
gonna be
going to be.
super obvious.
I think it's super obvious
It's
what
gonna
our
be
next
good.
theme is going to be.
I don't
But yeah,
know.
looking
I don't
forward to
know.
it. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, it really
Looking
will
forward
be.
to just going. That's it. 5E's
That's it.
done.
5E's
It's out
done.
the fucking way, and now I can actually talk about themes that I am vaguely interested in.
Wait, you're interested in something? What?
I am, yeah, I'm interested in a lot of things. It's just not 5E. But
You've
speaking
been
of
a good
5E,
sport though. You've been a good sport though.
speaking of 5e, so every week on Juan's Junk, we need to find something that I possess, which is 5e related, which obviously isn't very easy because I
Yeah.
don't own that much 5e
No.
material. But I thought this is only like a quick one. This isn't something we're going to delve too deeply into. But I thought this was quite interesting. It was on itch.io and it was part of the trans right bundle that I bought. And let me just bring this up. At least if we go to, I can share that screen.
He's pressing the buttons, y'all.
I'm pressing the buttons.
He's pressing the buttons.
All
Long
right,
distance
so
button
this
pressing.
is the Leafling. Okay, so this is an ancestry for 5e, and it is done by Tofi Strigander, who has
Beautiful.
a whole itch.io page. They have got multiple things, mostly 5e related, but they've also got things which is Moomins and Dragons. I
Hmm.
still need to look into that. I don't know what that is. So Leafling, the way I'm seeing it, it is essentially the Leshy, but
Okay.
built for 5e. So it says Leaflings are born from the shell of a body and the magic and the shift in seasons. They're a seed of energy resisting in the cavern of a ribcage, touched by the passing of a demonic, celestial, or fey entity nearby. I'm not going to read the whole thing. If you want to see more of this, buy it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so essentially, from what I gather, it is a Leshy. So the Leafling trait, and they get an ability score increase to intelligence and wisdom. They're mainly chaotic or neutral in nature. They're small to medium. The one ability they've got lucky, where they've got inexplicable luck that seems to kick in at just the right time. A blessing from the formation of the Oko. You gain the lucky feat. I
Hmm.
don't know if that's rolling with, I don't know what that is in 5e parlance. But being born of energy of nature on the fringes of wilderness, you are tuned to the capricious nature of nature. You gain the Shillelagh cantrip and the Speak with Animals spell, and you gain an additional spell at 3rd and 5th level. And you choose between intelligence and wisdom for your casting spell modifier. And there are variants which will change the spell that you get at 3rd level and 5th level. So you can have the cusp of spring or summer, autumn, or winter. And down here, you've got a bit more sort of in-depth sort of abilities that come with each of those cusps. So just taking one, cusp of spring, you get an increase to your charisma. You speak Aquan, your resistance to necrotic damage, and you get a proficiency in investigation. So you're pliable, you're able to follow the flow of a blow, absorbing the impact. This allows you to take only half the damage on bludgeoning damage 3 times before a short or long rest. You know to tell the slightest shifts in the weather. You can tell apart false visions from real by scent. And so, yeah, and it is really cool. It is really cool. Obviously, a lot of it I can't relate to because I don't understand 5e that well,
You
but
know
it
what it
does seem quite
almost
interesting.
feels like? It almost gives like druidic nature tiefling vibes, which I wonder if that's what they're trying to do with the name Leafling. Because you know, you're Pathfinder people, so you're like fleshy, and I'm going, that sounds like tiefling, but instead of spirits and demons, it was like nature and seasons.
That actually, yeah, that actually makes sense. That never dawned on me because we do have like tieflings. They're not called that anymore,
Yeah.
but there are a version of tieflings in Pathfinder.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I think that's pretty cool. You know, so
Listen,
if
some of
you
my
want to,
favorite like things like this, like races, origins, whatever, go find an artist that plays D&D because they come up with the coolest stuff. And that's
speaking
pretty. I love that idea.
speaking of art, check out the artwork.
I know, right? That's why you popped it up, and I was like, ooh, pretty.
It is very pretty. It is very pretty, and it's. I like the style as well. So it looks almost done on parchment.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
a sucker. Again, good art, pretty. I would be into that.
So yeah, go check them out. They're on itch.io, and I think they're under the name Tofi on
Tofi?
itch.io.
Tofi?
Okay.
Toffee?
I I
Tofi?
I'm inclined to say Tofi.
Tofi. Okay. I'm
Yeah.
here for Tofi.
So yeah, definitely check that out. But that is about all we've got time for this evening.
Time flies when you're
Thank
having
you
fun.
to everyone in the chat. I haven't had a chance to interact with you because dealing with things on one screen is not something I'm used to. But yeah,
No,
thanks ever so much for coming and joining us. It is always great to hang out with you guys. Atlas, thanks to you for keeping me company
always.
this wonderful evening. Do you want to, plug and tell people whereabouts I can find you?
Literally anywhere on the internet except that one place. TikTok, Instagram, Threads. I'm missing one. Blue Sky.
Blue Sky.
Atlas like the Titan, Ursa like the bear. Yeah.
As for me, you can find me at Natural Juan on Blue Sky. Currently at Natural Juan on Threads, but I'm thinking of changing that back to legit to crit. But yeah, I'm behind most of our social media, whether that's on Threads or Instagram, Blue Sky, Facebook. There is a place that we won't mention. It's not worthy of mention.
Yeah.
Also, if you like what we do, like our channel, subscribe to our channel. You know, YouTube works on likes and subscribes, and we want to grow as much as possible and reach as many people as possible. So you doing that is gonna help us massively. Also, if you want to buy some of our merch, check out our merch store at toolegit2crit.uk. Check out our website at toolegit2crit.com, where we've got a blog which I update once every 2 weeks, and we've also got like links to all our friends. And we also have a Ko-fi page if you just want to buy us a coffee, just want to kind of help, help with the production costs of the show. Also, we've got a Discord which you can join, and we've got a private channel in the Discord for everybody who's a $3 a month subscriber. Here's the Traveler's Chalice. You'll get a first-hand sort of input into the future of the show, as it were. But most importantly of all, I want to thank everybody who's taken time out of their busy day listening to two idiots waffle on about tabletop role playing games. Thank you very much. Good night.